How far can you get while being trapped in one chunk for 100 days in Minecraft? That's exactly what me and my friend Notorious are about to find out. We'll be confined to a 16 by 16 square stretching from bedrock all the way to the height limit. Join us as we transform a mere patch of untouched land into a self-sustaining civilization. Let's do this. The first step was to find what chunk we wanted to trap ourselves in for this challenge. We looked around for a good 30 minutes, but just couldn't find something that we both liked. The danger was that if we picked a chunk that didn't have enough resources to progress, we wouldn't be able to keep busy for 100 days and things would get stale. After some careful consideration though, we eventually found a chunk that seemed like a pretty good pick. Alright, now new beginnings. Luckily enough, we had 2 cows and sheep, so beds would be easy to make. Notorious started mining out a little underground room for us to call a home, and I began mining down to look for some coal and iron. I forgot one crucial detail while I was mining down, which was that mobs could only spawn inside this chunk. That means they spawn in massive groups since there's nowhere else for them to go. And, of course, we ran into some trouble. Oh, shit.
What's going on down there?
I just found a fucking... Oh, dear Jesus.
I'll come fight with you, dude.
Appreciate you, sir. It's right down this way.
Oh.
After we cleared out all the mobs, I found a good spot to make a mob farm. It was this little cave, which meant way less mining for me. While I was mining out this room, I found some iron and was able to make shears to get some beds placed down. I went back up to make them and totally forgot that a bunch of mobs would spawn in the room I was digging, so I got a nice little surprise when I made it back.
Are you gonna make it out alive?
Oh my god. Why did that just explode? Oh, shit. Anyways, I finished up the mob farm pretty quickly. It's just one of those basic ones with the 4 platforms and a hole for them to fall into. While I was working away on the mob farm though, Notorious was getting our house looking pretty fancy. We had a nice stripped log checkered floor, deep slate brick walls, and we ended up really liking the look of it. He also made a small farm to get some crops started because food would become quite important fairly quickly. The mob farm was working pretty nicely too. It was a good source of XP and we were able to get some carrots and potatoes. I went out and did some mining in hopes of finding iron and gold, but ended up finding a ton of diamonds instead. Oh my god! We just got 14 fucking diamonds from one vein.
Bruh. How much is there?
Dude. Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Biffs here. I mean, we have 12 total now in my inventory, and we have 20 back up at the fucking chest.
Dude,
so we have 32. We really needed gold to make golden apples for curing zombie villagers in the future, but things were not looking good. We ended up finding somewhere around 40 diamonds, which is cool and all, but not exactly what we were looking for. Some zombie villagers and a witch also happened to fall into the mob farm, which I quickly separated and got put into some boats for later use. These things would be crucial for curing into normal villagers and getting some good trades going. Time was progressing fairly quickly, and we were already becoming unhinged from being confined in such a small place for so long.
You are my new elite employee.
Do you ever just like have a hard time sleeping at night? So like you turn on your phone and put on like a 10-hour YouTube video of just Minecraft cave noises?
Yeah, dude, that's exactly what I do.
What is Scooby-Doo's chest?
That's for our imaginary dog, you know?
But these first 15 days were pretty successful. We got a house started, a mob farm, zombie villagers and a witch, a bunch of diamonds, beds. Things were looking pretty good. Even though we were off to a really good start, there was no time to rest. I got busy mining in hopes of finding gold while Notorious was up above mining out a room for our future villagers. We ended up making diamond picks to speed this process up because the stone pickaxes just weren't doing the job. I eventually found the 16 gold I needed for the golden apples, and on my way back up to smelt it, we found our first music disc in the mob farm. I went ahead and helped Notorious mine out the rest of the room he was working on, as well as helped place down the floor and walls while we were waiting for the gold to smelt. I took advantage of our sheep farm to make a bunch of beds for the villagers and also made as many workstations as possible at the time. There were 3 villagers that were going to be impossible to get in this challenge, those being the cartographer, librarian, and cleric. The reason being that we had no way to get paper without a wandering trader, which, spoiler alert, never showed up. And the reason we couldn't get a cleric is obvious. You need blaze rods for the brewing station and there was no way we could get that. Anyways, after the rooms for the villagers had been made, I made my way back to the mob farm to cure the villagers. I did end up having to temporarily disable the mob farm to make stairs for the villagers to get up to their rooms, but it wasn't a huge deal. After some trial and error with the witch, it finally threw the weakness potions and I began the curing process. I'm pretty sure one of them's curing right now, so you have to like punch the witch, because I guess that triggers it to throw the weakness potion because it wants to like make it so you don't do any damage to it. That's not to say I didn't die a few times along the way, but we'll ignore that. While I was doing this, Notorious was making a room that would eventually become our tree farm, and then later on become our fishing area. His vision was to make the room still look natural, so it was like we preserved a cave, which turned out really well. We got the villagers up to their rooms with only a little difficulty, and that was that.
Look at that. What up, homie? You're rocking. I don't know. Alright. You're gonna get, yep.
All right.
Good job.
These things are literally have the brain of a fucking chicken, dude. The next step was getting the villagers to breed, which would end up taking a bit longer than anticipated. While I waited for them to breed, I decided to make a dirt platform in the sky to try and get more animals to spawn.
Dude, that is high. Holy moly. Dude, at that point, like, if you can get the grass to get all the way up there, you can just keep it up there. My god. Like, you could almost make it look like a...
Oh,
kind of
The idea was to get grass to grow up there and to have a high enough light level to meet the spawn conditions for things like pigs and chickens. Notorious was making the animal farm look nicer while I was working on that, and I think it came out really well. Anyways, I did some trades with the Fletcher to stack up on some emeralds and came to an unfortunate realization. There's a very good possibility that we do not make it to the nether in this chunk. So I was just looking at the villager trades a little closer, and I thought you could get a lava bucket from a villager, but apparently you have to trade them a water bucket and they give you emeralds for it. That's right. We had 0 lava on this chunk, and this whole time I thought you could just get it from the villagers, but I was mistaken. After that, I began digging out another room which would become our main crop farm that would come in handy with getting the villagers to keep breeding. About halfway through this process, Notorious came down with a pretty cool surprise.
Oh, that's crazy. Jimmy, where are you at?
Under the tree farm.
Come to the tree.
Why is there a bee down here? Oh, they're following you around because you have flour.
I was like,
I did
why
not know
do they
could do that.
That's what I'm saying. I want to like give them. Oh my god.
Oh, you can breed them? What?
What?
Anyways, I finished up the farm room, and just before we wrapped up that day's recording, I witnessed the villagers finally breeding. First thing after we woke up, we found an iron golem in our villager room. Sweet, right? I spent a lot of time researching the wiki to see if there was any possible way for us to get lava or an enchanting table. I even went into a single player world to see if it was possible to get lava to fill up a cauldron with dripstone if it wasn't a source block, which it actually does. So, holy shit, this is actually huge. If we can find a lava pool next to us, then yeah, we just blow up the shit out of that area until we can get it to flow over into our chunk. The problem is that the closest lava to our chunk was still a decent ways away, so getting it to flow to us would be a challenge. You're probably wondering how I knew there was no lava in our chunk for a fact, let alone where the closest lava pool was outside of our chunk. Well, the answer is simple. I just made a single player world with the same seed, found our chunk, and went into spectator mode to have a look around. Anyways, after trying to use TNT to get the lava to flow towards us, I just gave up. There was realistically no way for it to happen without insane luck, so I just accepted that we weren't gonna get lava, let alone go to the nether. While I was doing all of this, Notorious was going crazy with the villagers.
Oh my goodness, dude. We can get glistening melons and golden carrots now.
Oh golden carrots are clutch. I think they're like the best food in the game.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're just goated like I am.
He was silently stacking up on resources and getting them all leveled up. If I remember correctly, he got the Fletcher and Farmer maxed out, which are 2 of the most useful villagers. The Fletcher because it has the best way to trade for emeralds using sticks, and the Farmer because of the food that we could get, including golden carrots. I gave them some more food in an effort to get more professions, and while I waited for them to breed, I decided I wanted to try and get music discs. This idea didn't last very long though. My plan was to make a hole with trapdoors and lead creepers into it from the mob farm, place TNT above the hole, and get a skeleton to shoot a fire arrow at it. But it didn't go to plan.
I just heard an explosion.
Didn't work how I thought it would. No,
Oh,
come
my
down
God.
here, dude. Oh.
Oh.
Anyways, after we cleaned that mess up, I decided to move the dirt platform in the sky down a bit. It was just taking way too long for grass to reach it, and we both decided it was best to just lower it. Since that didn't take very long, I quickly moved on to making a storage room under the villager room. The idea I had in mind would require an enormous amount of wood, so I got busy. Getting bones from the mob farm, turning them to bone meal, growing a bunch of oak saplings, rinse and repeat. The build itself went pretty smoothly though. I went with oak log pillars to separate the chests and used a lot of deep slate bricks since we had a ton of it. Overall, I really liked how it turned out, even if it was pretty simple. I wanted to use item frames to label the chests, but since we didn't have enough leather at the time, I settled with signs. Notorious was still grinding away at leveling the villagers and stacking resources, and to end that day's recording, he showed me some of his trades.
We can now get arrows that have +3 attack damage.
What the hell? What do you mean?
I'm telling you, dude, I'm figuring this
What
out.
the f? Arrows of strength? Holy sh! I've never gotten a Fletcher this high.
Yeah, and I just did it on a 1 chunk. Are you maxed out on health right now?
Yeah, what's up?
I want to shoot you with one of these arrows.
That was... Oh, wait. That gave me strength. So, like, how
Oh,
much damage does this
snap.
do?
Dang, dude, that was almost... I'm at 4 hearts.
There are quite a few points to discuss for these next 15 days, so let's not waste any time. We managed to get our first bell thanks to Notorious's trading grind, and the grass also finally reached that dirt platform we had in the sky. Notorious began moving all of our resources into our new chest room, and I got busy on the iron farm. With the help of a little TNT, I got the room dug out in no time. While I was doing this, Notorious got the weaponsmith villager upgraded, so now we were able to get some enchanted diamond axes. Soon after that, he unlocked diamond swords, so we were doing pretty well for ourselves. Anyways, while Notorious kept trading, I went back to finish the iron farm. It's a pretty basic design. You have one zombie in a boat with 3 villagers on the other side of this little room, and then a water hole for the iron golem to spawn into. While the design itself is pretty simple, getting the villagers and zombie into the farm proved to be quite a task. Oh god. Oh. After all of that, I ended up having to also spawn proof the mob farm with dirt path blocks since the golems weren't spawning in the right spot. But once I finished that, the farm was complete. Well, we have infinite iron now.
Wait, we have an infinite iron now? And how do I get
Here, I'll show
iron?
you. Yeah. So every so often, an iron golem is going to spawn in the middle here, like that. And then you just whack him, because he can't hit you. Now, ideally, there'd be lava here, so it just auto kills him. We don't have to do anything, but kill him, and then there's a chest right there. You can take all the iron out of there. It didn't take long for us to get full iron armor and tools, which was a welcome sight. Quick little side note, the mob farm started to slow down pretty drastically, and it turns out it was because there were a bunch of spiders blocking the hole. Me and Notorious went in there to exterminate them, but we were not expecting the number of spiders we saw.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
What happened? Oh my god.
Oh, I'm stuck.
Oh wait, come down. One of them I made was... Can you get around to this side? Carefully, don't fall down the hole. Oh, god. Anyways, Notorious kept on trading with the villagers, but something weird happened. That bell we got earlier was acting kind of weird. Notorious rung it and it made this weird noise and seemed to give him a status effect, but we could not figure out what it was.
Oh, we ain't got time for that. Y'all better wake your ass up.
What was that?
I hit the bell and then I heard something.
And then What? I've actually never heard that sound before. If you know what this does, let me know in the comments because I've never seen this before. Moving on, I got busy working on a smelting room where we could just have a bunch of furnaces to speed things up. It was a pretty basic room, just deep slate brick walls, stone brick floors, you get the picture. At the same time, Notorious was adding more decorations up above, like this entryway that led down into our full base from the surface. He was also messing around with lightning and lightning rods up above, and we ended that day's recording with some laughs. What the?
Yeah! I did it. It did its justice. It shot the lightning. I really wish I was out here,
Oh
bro.
shoot, I heard it from all the way down there. You can see it like sparkling, like it's about to...
Dude, if you get struck by lightning because you're on that rod, that'd be like the most lit thing. Like glistening, dude. I'm looking at this thing.
Oh!
It did it! Oh, I just got struck by lightning.
How much damage should it do? Oh my god.
Oh, I got struck again.
Oh my god.
Holy shit, dude.
In this section of the challenge, we did a ton of mining, but we'll get to that in a second. To start things off, I decided to make the iron farm automatic for efficiency reasons. Since the original design required a lava block, I had to get creative. I ended up using campfires as a replacement, which may have taken more resources, but I think it was worth it. Notorious was up above working on decorations, such as this new carpet in the chest room, as well as the glow item frames. He also got our armor villager leveled up enough to get 2 pieces of enchanted diamond armor. What?
Alright. Go look at the
What is
armor. I'm
going
not
on?
saying nothing. Go look at the armor, bro. Just go look at it.
Oh my God. I had some emeralds, so I got us both the armor, which then leveled the armor up again, meaning we could now get a full set of enchanted diamond armor. Speaking of villagers, somehow 2 of them escaped our base and made it into the animal farms, almost as if they were trying to hide from us. Whatever happened to that baby villager? There was a baby villager running about.
He was up here.
Oh, no, there's... Come up to the cow pen.
Bruh.
Well, this is a predicament.
Oh.
Anyways, I started leveling the toolsmith in hopes of getting an enchanted diamond pickaxe, where I then figured out that I needed iron to level him up the fastest. Obviously, I went down to go check how the AFK iron farmer's doing, and let's just say I was not disappointed. Oh my god.
Oh, I'm coming down. Don't tell me. Don't tell me.
Brother.
Bruh, already a stack?
With all that iron in hand, I was able to get the toolsmith leveled up and unlocked a trade for an efficiency 2 diamond pickaxe. Alright, do you remember how I mentioned we did a lot of mining a minute ago? Well, I wasn't kidding. We decided to dig out everything from just under the mob farm room all the way down to the bottom of the mob farm. This obviously took quite some time, and while we didn't necessarily have a plan on what to build there yet, it kept us busy. I did add this cool little tunnel so you could see the mobs fall from the farm though. After that grind was done, I had to go fix the mob farm back up. As you might have guessed, it didn't go very well. Oh!
Damn. I heard that.
What just happened? But after that was all said and done, Notorious showed me what he was working on. He spruced up the original tree farm room to make it look a bit nicer and also kind of turned it into a fishing area, which I think came out really well. I do have some bad news though. For whatever reason, the iron farm stopped working. At first I thought maybe a golem spawned somewhere below the farm and was preventing more from spawning, but I dug under there for a while and found nothing. Anyways, just like that, it was already day 75 and we were 3/4 of the way done with the challenge. What day is it? 75? Oh, God.
It's day 75.
God, yeah. We're in the home stretch, and there are lots of things to go over before day 100. The villagers were finally done breeding, and we had all 10 professions that were possible in our chunk. I finished off their area and separated them all into their own little rooms. Unfortunately, the iron farm still wasn't working, and we had no clue why. I even went and looked at the in-game recordings to see if I could find a stray iron golem somewhere, but I saw nothing. After doing some research, I found that a potential reason for the farm stoppage is that the villagers weren't rested. I just looked up why it's not working. It's because the villagers haven't been able to sleep, and it worked at first because they were well rested when they first came down here, but so I need to like get in there and get some trapdoors to block the view of the zombie, let them sleep at night, and then theoretically it'll start working again. But even after letting them rest for a few days, it still didn't seem to work. Luckily, it wasn't the end of the world since we were so close to the finish line. Moving on, Notorious and I decided we wanted to expand the chunk a bit before day 100. I got started on what would be the armor room, and he got started on the shooting range. It didn't take too long for us to finish them. They were both pretty simple, but also really nice additions to the chunk. Soon after that, I started on another room, which would be the tavern. I went with all logs for the floor, which came out pretty nice, but also took a ton of tree farming. I want to see if there's a way I can make it look like there's like maybe with item frames, have like tankards or like the mugs on the counter. Oh, the sea pickles. Or the sea cucumber, god damn it. Whatever those things are called. After a bit of decorating though, the tavern was complete. I think that this was probably the favorite build that I did myself, at least from an aesthetic standpoint. Notorious was busy up above decorating and adding things like some hanging signs and a water well to fill some space on the surface. We both did a little renovating on our main floor and got rid of the potato farm since we had that big farm downstairs anyway. We slapped down some paintings and armor stands, which made it feel a lot more cozy. We were nearing the end, but had one last thing we wanted to do. That last thing being a PvP room where we could battle on the very last day on the chunk. It obviously wasn't going to be anything fancy since we were limited on time, but we tried our best to make it look like a boxing ring. We did a few different battles, like using our fists, diamond hoes, bows, and swords, and just like that, we reached the end of our 100-day journey on one chunk in Minecraft. Oh, it's been nice, chunk. It's been nice. You served us well. Day 100. Completed. We did 100 days in a single chunk. There you have it. The challenge is finally complete after many hours of gameplay. For being confined to one chunk, I'd say we made it a good ways. Just for a little recap. At the surface level, we have our animal farms, a small wheat farm, a bench area with some campfires, a water well, and our entryway. Moving into the main floor, you have our bedroom, a little bit of storage, and a small armory. Below that, you have the villager room where we have all 10 professions that are possible to get on the chunk. We also have a few of them max upgraded, like the Fletcher, Armorer, Toolsmith, and Weaponsmith. Next up is the chest room that contains the majority of all of our resources, obviously. It turns out that you can actually farm a lot of items in 100 days while being confined to one chunk. We ended up with a ridiculous amount of food, gunpowder, and a lot more that I can't remember right now. The fourth underground floor is a natural cave that's been preserved for the most part. It was once a mine shaft and Notorious turned it into a fishing area and a nice chill spot. The next floor doesn't look the greatest, but it served a very important purpose, that being our crop farm. Below that is the furnace room, which unfortunately didn't get as much use as it should have. The main reason being it was built pretty close to the end of the challenge. Right under the furnace room was the mob spawning room that made all the mobs fall down the long tunnel. Moving on to the armory floor, which didn't get that much love on the decorating, but was still a cool little addition. Next up is my favorite room that I made, being the tavern. I liked how the decorations came out and it felt full in there without being too overcrowded. It didn't necessarily serve a real purpose, but it did make it feel a lot more cozy. Underneath the tavern is the mob killing area along with the no longer functioning iron farm. These were extremely important during the challenge, but aesthetically wise aren't the most pleasing to look at. The second to last room was the shooting range, which while also fairly simple was still fun to mess around in. And finally we have the PvP room where we ended the challenge off on day 100. And yeah, to wrap things up, I think the chunk came a long way and it was a fun 100 days spent. Hitting a like and subscribe would mean a lot as this video took loads of effort to put together, and I really hope you enjoyed. Later.